You know what, man?
How everybody doing this evening? This is Mississippi Vibes with Bert. Once again, I'm back on a Sunday afternoon. I have a great show this weekend. We're talking about Black love and marriage. I have, man, some wonderful couples who have, I think I got about 200 years of combined marriages together. People I have been watching from afar and have a chance to be able to meet their husband and wives. So today we're going to jump in and we're going to have a discussion about Black love, what it's about, what it takes, how they possibly can help you within your marriage. So I would like to introduce the panel. I have Mr. and Mrs. Akins, Mr. and Mrs. Beckham, Mr. and Mrs. Williams, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I have the Tate family. I have Mr. and Mrs. Dunn Mann. And I have Mr. and Mrs. Pleasant. Right. Mr. and Mrs. Dunn.
You know who the boss is.
Yeah. Right. Right. I apologize about that.
That's right.
But,
That's all good, brother. I ain't mad at nobody.
Thank you, sir, doctor.
Doctor's man.
Right. Thank you, sir. Hey, so the first question I have for everyone, I would like to know, everybody would like to know, how did y'all meet? And I would like to start off with Mr. and Mrs. Reggie Williams.
Well,
Don't give a long story, just tell it.
on the unedited version of
No. Honestly, in a nightclub.
we met in a club.
In a nightclub.
We met in a juke joint.
Yep, in a juke joint, literally.
In the juke joint.
Yep.
So, you know, you can find love anywhere. But you can find love and keep love anywhere too.
Just not in a juke joint.
But we married.
No, he didn't ask that. He said, without. Did he say that?
Oh, did you say that?
No. He said, where did we meet?
Oh,
Say
okay.
this question.
All right.
I actually asked, you know what I'm saying, how did y'all first meet?
Okay. Well, actually, when we first met, we, you know, she, you know, was so overwhelmed with my everything.
Right.
All right then.
And I think I was 21,
Mm-hmm.
21 at the time.
Yeah.
20, no, I was 21.
21.
21 at the time.
Yeah. And I was 18. Oh. Yeah. I wasn't supposed to be at the club. But anyways, yeah. Yeah. That's how we met.
Drinks at the club.
No, I couldn't get drinks.
All right, Mr. and Mrs. Tate, how did y'all first meet?
All right. So the official story is Walmart.
We should have said that.
The unofficial story is Tinder. We both swipe right.
Oh my God.
Hey,
Ain't nothing wrong with that, brother.
it's a fun story because if I was actually sick off work that weekend, I had strep, and I was supposed to go to a Super Bowl party, and I didn't. So I'm just sitting at home watching the game, and I'm like, I'm gonna tool around on Tinder while I'm doing this. And I look up and I say, oh, she's cute. She got a little gap, got a little high cheekbones. Okay, swipe right. You're a match. Okay. Just looked at me, was like, oh yeah, he hit. That's the one. Cause she messages me immediately. Hey. And we were conversing all that week, and we went on the first date that following Saturday, and I ain't been able to get rid of her since.
Start.
So what he said?
Walmart.
The bell. The bell.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes. Hey, how y'all doing?
We doing all right.
How did y'all first meet?
Man, I had a little job. I had a seasonal job at McRae's Christmas time, and Duke was over in Columbus at her sister's house, and I stopped by one morning before I went to work. She stopped by. She had a little business suit on, pantsuit on, and she came in with a bottle of Hennessy. This at 8 a.m. going to work, right? So she came in. I said, "Come on, I bet you want to take a shot. Just talk to smack." And she took a shot and she went to work. I said, "Are you gonna come back and see me at lunchtime?" And she came back, and so we just kind of been kicking it ever since then. Yeah. She took a shot, so she let me know she was all right. At 8 a.m.
At 8 a.m. Wow.
Mr. and Mrs. Akins, how long is love? Well, how did y'all meet?
He on mute. I'm mute, Jeff.
Unmute Jeff.
He just talk.
Can't hear you, man.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
You hear me now?
Yeah, we got you. You on Veronica?
I was leaving the club, going to meet somebody else. And I believe she was stalking me because when I came out the store, she was in her car just sitting there. And I said, "Hey, cutie, how you doing?" And she said, "Hey, how you doing?" Trying to, you know how they be trying to play hard to get, you know what I'm saying? And so I said, "What you about to do? Can I ride with you?" She was like, "I don't know. Do you want to?" I said, "Yeah, let me ride with you." She said, "Well, I might be a serial killer." I said, "Well, kill me then." Well, make a long story short, we hung out that night and talked, you know what I'm saying? Then we kind of, went through the dating process, the courting process. She tried to make it tough for a play up, but you know what I'm saying? I prevailed in the end. And of course, we about 21 years now in the game.
That's all right.
Yeah.
When he put the game on,
Mr. and Mrs. Man. Come on now. How did y'all first meet? What?
Another bag came. Who they on now?
Brandon was at my apartment complex at Mississippi State hanging out with his fellas by the swimming pool.
That was trespassing.
He was. That was how we met, and we talked a little bit then, and then met up again a little bit later, and the rest is history. It's pretty simple.
A little bit later at night.
Reg, hush.
No Reggie. A couple of days later.
A couple of days later.
Mr. and Mrs. Pleasant.
We met at a softball tournament down in McKee Park. She was playing third base, and I was over there checking her out. I know she knew I was, but I was checking out. We took each other out, and she almost got hit with a runner down third base, and kind of caught each other's attention and everything. And we laughed and talked and watched her for a little while longer. I kept her out of harm's way because she almost got hit 2 or 3 times trying to check me out. But that's where we met at a softball tournament. Me and my best friend was out there talking, and I said, well, that's gonna be the one I'm gonna marry right there. Just by talking and just laughing and grinning at each other. And that's the way we met at a softball tournament in Key Park.
That's great. Last but not least, Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
You want to tell me?
No, you tell me.
We met at Park and Recreation. I was at work, and the trainer, Marcus Bishop's wife, came by, and she was in the car. She wouldn't get out. And I asked Soprano, I said, "What's up with her? She too good to come in here?" So, of course, you know me. I go out to the car and ask, "Was she too cute to come in?" And the rest is history.
So how long y'all been married?
If we make it till July 22nd, we'll have 25 years in.
All right.
All right. Mr. and Mrs. Pleasant, how long y'all been married?
21.
21. Mr.
21.
and Mrs. Man, how long y'all been married?
25 years, June 10th.
June 10th, my birthday. Wow, that's great. I knew it was something special. Mr. and Mrs. Beckham.
18.
18.
18.
Mr. and Mrs. Williams, how long y'all been married?
We 27 going on 28 this year. We 28 in August.
Wow. Mr. and Mrs. Tate.
9 months in this thing.
9 months.
We knew.
That's good. All right.
I start somewhere.
All right.
Enough time to experiment.
Mr. and Mrs. Aiken,
You got to unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
how long y'all been married, sir?
19.
19.
Been together 21, 22.
22. Don, you did the math. How many of that? 300 years?
It's not
Long
135.
135.
Yep.
135 combined. Wow.
That's the same as 300.
Okay.
200.
5 years, right? In 5 years.
Right.
It's 300.
The bag?
So this is how we're gonna do. We're gonna jump into these questions. We're gonna jump into these questions right now. And first question. The first question I'm going to address to Mr. Mann, Ms. Zuba Tate, Ms. Williams, and Mr. Beckham. What's your ideal of an ideal marriage? I would like to start out with Mr. Beckham.
So you're just gonna put the teacher on the spot. An ideal marriage to me is one with, I guess for lack of a better term, I hate this term, open communication. Like I said, after even 18 years of marriage, I find that if you don't, communication is the key.
Exactly.
And you have to say exactly what you mean and how you mean it. And he actually, he's teaching me that. He's still teaching me that. Because sometimes I accuse him of being a little harsh, but he shoots it straight from the hip and he tells the truth. He won't lie to me even when I want him to.
Yeah.
So,
because my thing with her sometimes is having those hard conversations. You know what I mean? I don't want to have them. Easy like, okay, all right, and just kind of go past them. But sometimes you got to have them because I think it's a lot of value information that can help you move forward. But you got to be willing to hear that person, understand their concerns and where they're coming from, and just their point of view. Because everything got different sides of the table because we all see things different. So it's having those hard conversations that, you know, that I feel.
yeah, I'll amen it. Amen it.
Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what we're going through now, is those hard conversations.
Okay. Appreciate it, brother. Ms. Tate, what's your idea of ideal marriage?
Well, I have to agree with Ms. Beckham. Definitely communication and just the realization that your situation, don't look at everybody else's situation or everybody else's marriage, but know your mate and focus on what you all make it your ideal marriage, because what somebody else does, it might not be the same thing that would your relationship you could do in your relationship. So definitely open communication, and meet people where they are. You know, don't try to force him to be I don't want to force him to be somebody different, and I don't want him to force me to be somebody different, but be who we are and be true to who we are and love ourselves. And I think that's what makes a good idea marriage. Open communication, definitely communication, and just knowing who you are as a person.
Yeah. Ms. Williams.
Yes.
What's your idea of an ideal marriage?
To be able to nurture each other. With nurturing comes growth. You shouldn't You shouldn't conform to, like Mrs. Tate said, you shouldn't conform to what other people think an ideal marriage is, or you don't want to model yourself after someone else's marriage. And so being able to nurture one another and to allow each other to grow independently and together is my ideal of marriage.
Mr. Man, what's your idea of an ideal marriage?
I think the ideal marriage is based on sort of what everybody else has said. Communication, number one, no doubt. And having a respect for the other person as an individual, and that you can't change anybody. You know, I think a lot of folks get into a relationship thinking that they're gonna change somebody. You burn in daylight. And I think just having that mutual respect for one another. You know, true enough, you're not gonna get along, and you're not gonna come to the same realization on every decision that you make. But just having that open communication and that respect for one another, that sometimes you're gonna have those differences, I think will help you along the lines.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next question. This question is for the wives. And I'm gonna start out with Miss Akins. Miss Akins, what sustains a man's happiness in a marriage?
Talking about sustaining. When I think about Jeff just sustaining in our marriage, it's pretty much just keeping Jeff happy is food. And Jeff is one of those, you know, what sustains him is making sure that he has what he needs to be comfortable when he comes home from work. Just being open, and when we're talking or when he's talking, being open. You know, when Jeff come home a lot of days, because he worked 2 jobs, so when he come home a lot of days, and this is just for any marriage, I was taught from old school, you know, make sure your husband has something on the table when he get home. Amen. That sometimes will sustain any marriage. A man feel his belly filled up. They said the way to a man's heart is to fill his belly up. Well, and you know, that's how a lot of times how we can just sustain one another, just being open to one another. A lot of times we come home, hey, always communication. You know, how was your day, baby? How was your day at work today? Let's line up a communication. It does not matter how bad the day was or how good the day was. Married couples need to always open that line of communication to sustain your marriage. It's because we go to work every day. We have these horrible things that happen at work. And sometimes they say leave work at home, but sometimes you just cannot leave work at home. You have to come home. And that's how we sustain together, is that we talk things out.
Okay, thank you, Pat. Ms. Smith, what sustains your husband's happiness in y'all marriage?
We have been married for quite some time now, and you can ask him, he only requires 2 things. And what is that, babe? Have him something to eat and sex. He's happy.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, Doc.
I'm a simple man. I'm a simple man. Simple man.
Miss Williams.
Oh, Lord.
What sustains your man happiness in y'all marriage?
Well, I'm not going to say that I'm going to be the one that's going to feed him all the time because he can feed himself. And he is a good chef around this joint. So
Cook my own food.
he can cook his own food and he cooks for the family as well. I do sometimes. We share our roles equally. What sustains him, to be honest, his sexual desires. That would be honest, right? Yeah. And just letting him have his space at times where he can go out and golf or fish or just hang out with his friends, not in crazy places, but just have his space away from just the family and me. And so I think that gives us our space and that sustains us.
Thank you. Miss Pleasant.
Yes, sir.
What sustains your husband's happiness in y'all marriage?
It's just like Mrs. Smith said, you know, he's not a hard man to please. As long as he getting the sex and the food, he's happy. And he come home to a clean house.
Oh, Red.
Miss Man?
Boy, I am tickled. I kind of have two answers a little bit for this question. Brandon definitely likes acceptance and support, and time is also one of his things that he really cares about. And then the other part of that question is, I think that we shouldn't, get into making sure that we are the only thing that sustains another person. I think it's absolutely important that everybody does something to take care of him or herself or sustain him or herself. Because if all I do is try to sustain him, then I'm losing myself. And I think it's really important that people are giving as much as they are getting and working on that sustaining piece. So it's definitely about understanding and caring for your mate, but it's also about making sure that you care for and sustain yourself.
I agree.
He didn't ask you that, John.
Yes, he did.
But I can answer that question how I want to, Reggie. Thank you.
Miss Tate.
Hello. Yes.
The newlyweds. How you sustain your man's happiness in y'all fresh, beautiful marriage?
I would have to say what Ms. Dunn said. My husband, he really loves compliments. You look handsome today. You fine. Make him feel appreciated.
You ain't did it in a minute.
Yeah, I ain't did it in a minute. I know that's what he expects, you know what I'm saying? So I got to do that. I got to do better. But definitely doing that. But also, like what Ms. Dunn was saying, sustaining myself as well, sustaining me. When we got married, I had a son. So when we moved, I felt like he needed his space because he was a single man. You got him doing what he do, and then me and a little person coming along. So he has a man cave in the house. And and he's a gamer. So I feel like him getting that time to like go and game and, be by himself. I think that's what sustains us. And then me too, saying, hey, you good? You need anything? You all right? Kind of thing, making sure he's taken care of, making sure he's good.
To be fair, that man cave turns into a spa and a playroom real fast.
Oh, and ours is the thing, movie room.
Welcome.
Yes.
What sustains Jaworski? What's his happiness in y'all marriage?
I don't know. Y'all got me kind of nervous now. Because all this stuff these ladies talking about they doing, I ain't doing.
Okay. I don't either.
I guess I need to ask, baby, am I sustained? Are we okay for our answer? I don't want to give no false information. Okay, he here. Okay. So, I don't know. It probably starts, okay, let me back up a little bit. I don't do any cooking anymore. I used to. But for my little disability or whatever, I don't do a lot, period. So I'm going to say that it boils down to his love for me. Maybe y'all say it's not PG, right?
No.
Some of that good bop. And just basically my brain still works, even though there's some things I might be slower to think of some things than other things, but a listening ear. With my baby coaching all day, I try not to make him have to coach too many things with me when he gets home, but too many things with DJ or London. So I'm more of a listening ear and sexual desire. I mean, we talk and then he go ahead and put me on to sleep and we do it all again the next day.
Yeah, so our little history is like 2 years ago we had ABM rupture.
See, he explaining it now, but go ahead.
Yeah, so our dynamics the last 2 years been kind of different than what it's been a lot of years, because life after a stroke is a little different. So
yeah.
So so that's where we are now in our marriage. Basically like year 2 of our marriage, like a new life.
It's starting over. Like I had to learn to read, write. I was a teacher. So I went from teaching to learning to read and write, and
an English teacher.
English teacher. Now I'm remembering things, and it's all, I'm not gonna say it's all a game, but I have a lot of fun now. I missed out on a lot of times in 2 years I was in the hospital or off and on. So I'm living my best life, and I'm living it with my best friend. So we having a good time right now. And I mean, I don't guess he gonna put me in a home anytime soon. So we just,
I'm gonna keep it a little while longer.
A little while longer. So y'all heard it. You heard him say a little while longer. So there we go.
I made it this for, might as well keep going.
Thank you.
So Jawaski, we'll stay right there with you, Mr. Beckham. What sustains your wife's happiness in the marriage?
With her, she like attention. She like the, like I'm a person that don't like, you don't have to pat me on my back for nothing. I mean, I'm just not you don't have to congratulate me. Like, I'm just gonna do what I know I gotta do, okay? You wanna say good job, cool, but that's not me. But with her, she like affectionate. She like to be acknowledged. She like attention, you know what I mean? So.
You're just making it seem like I'm an attention seeker.
No, I'm not saying that. I mean, see, he said sustain, I can't jump you about, okay, well, hey, baby, we should have did this or that. We have a problem we may discuss, but I got to realize I got to have more patting you on the back for stuff than kind of coming at you and straighten things, because you're not built like that.
Okay, no, I'm not built like that.
But I love you for it, though. I've learned that now, that just as easy as just give you compliments and keep going. It is. No problem.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
What sustains your wife happiness in y'all marriage?
From what I've gathered in the last 25 years or so, she wants to know everything's gonna be all right. Regardless of what's going on. We got enough money, got cars to drive, kids are taken care of. I'm the stress guy. I'm the one that stresses over stuff that go on with her and the kids. Just try to make sure that she worries about nothing. If I think she wants something, make sure she gets it. If something needs to be done at the house, make sure it's done. Something needs to be for the kids. I need to go to a program for the kids. She can't go. I'm there. Just being a rock, so she don't have to worry about nothing. I think that's what sustained us for so long. That the fear of failure, in a marriage. You want to be that everything for your wife and for your kids, and be the man that they say, if it's wrong, we got to call daddy. Daddy got an answer. He gonna figure out a way to make it happen. I think that's what sustains us. She's not a hard person to please. We give each other space. She likes to go hang out with her folks. I hang out with my folks and play golf and just hang around the house. But basically just make sure everything's okay, that nobody has to worry about anything in the house.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Pleasant.
Good job at it.
Say what, Ms. Smith? I apologize.
And he does a wonderful job at that, and I appreciate that.
That's why.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Pleasant.
Yes, sir.
what sustains your wife happiness in y'all marriage?
Well, I won't say I think. I say I know that because trust and understanding, and the security, and just knowing that. I think for a person knowing that their mate or their husband actually loves them, you know, you can say different things and you can show different things, but just knowing that a person, you've been around a person for so many years, so much time, and they actually love you, and just admire them, and just anything that they do to you, try to be there to be a positive aspect and a positive model for them. Kids, family life, just being a part. I'm old school, and I know that it doesn't have to be all the way, but the same. I learned that the same thing that took to get her, it's probably going to take to keep her. But not so much. But you still have to remember some of those key things and put them in and put them to work.
Yes, sir. Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir.
What sustains your
You call me
happiness? What sustains your wife happiness, man?
That's a whole lot.
Just give him something.
But the main thing that I think that sustains that from, as far as for me, is feeling like that she has a husband that not going to shy away from responsibility of a family. She wants somebody who's going to make sure that family stays strong, and whatever comes up, we're going to go at it. We ain't going to run away from it. We ain't going to push it away. And so she knows that I'm going to always go after that family value from the beginning. That's one thing that I always said: family comes first, outside is outside. And also I make she shop all the time, so she shop a lot.
Okay.
That was number one. No.
Mr. Tate, what sustains your wife happiness?
I really think just the peace of mind I give her with certain things. She needs it done, I take care of it. I'm kind of, like I said, 9 months in, I'm brand new. I'm new to this, but I figured out one thing: if she wants it done, take care of that honey-do list. She likes that. She likes coming home to, I did this. Sometimes I only have to point out to her. She's like, babe, you did that? Like, yeah, no big deal. And I think she really likes when she's trying to do something, I make it easy on her. Like when she has things with Eastern Star Sisters, I'm there, I'm helping. She's busy, she's working from home. I got Miles, I got him distracted. She needs me to run and go get something. I'll run and go get it. So just being there when she needs me, just being, like I said, giving her peace of mind. And I think that makes her happy. I think that's what keeps her here.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Akins. He's still barbecuing.
He practicing for the cook-off.
Right, he needs it.
Okay.
Hey, Mr. Akins, what sustains your wife happiness in y'all marriage?
Love, attention, care about what she care about. So, and security. So, as a man, your family comes first. Just make sure those things are taken care of. And then, she happy, you happy. And then, you can continue to make it from day to day as best as you can. So love, attention, and care about what she cares about.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mann?
I would just say being able to speak Don's love language and understanding that if the towels need washing and folding, that is done. You know, if the bed needs to be made up, make it up. You know, getting out and cutting the damn grass. You know what I mean? So, right. And if you know dinner needs to be started, make it happen.
Okay, we're gonna stay right there with you, Mr. Man. It's a question for everyone, but we're gonna stay with the Man family. What made you fall in love with your spouse?
Don't you say
that.
He said,
Yeah. I think a lot of that, man, just kind of comes into play. You know, you're young, you find someone that makes you feel good about yourself, and you enjoy spending time with them. And Dawn had well, she still does. I say had, like she fell off or something. But you know, has an outgoing personality that kind of draws people to her or whatnot. And you know, one of the first times we got together or whatnot, you know, we just had a good time laughing and about nothing really. You know what I mean? So it was just a vibe of how that person makes you feel, and you realizing that you can see yourself, you know, trying to make something with that person. So I wouldn't say it was one particular thing. It was more so the feeling I got when we were hanging out initially. So,
Ms. Dawn?
He was solid, supportive, like a quiet rock. I am kind of like sometimes, and he was really able to kind of steady me and listen. And one of the best things is he let me be me. He didn't put any restrictions on who I am. He didn't put any restrictions on what I need to wear, how I need to style my hair. He really let me be me and accepted me for me, and that was oh so attractive.
Ooh, yeah.
That fool right there.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith. What made you fall in love with your spouse?
Well, at first, to be honest, I really was not attractive to my husband at first. We kind of hung around one another and got to know the best of him, and he got to know the best of me, and we grew. He is supportive. I like that. He's dependable most of the time, right? But no, seriously, he's dependable. He's loving. He's caring. He was able to show all of that to me, and that to me shows that the man does that. Then you kind of know that okay, this is it. This is it. And plus, I was at that time a person that did not want to just hang around with a person for a long, long time, and I kind of made that clear to him that
we both did.
Of course we did. We did, and we was ready to get married. So we prayed about it, and it happened, and we're here. We love one.
Thank you, Mrs. Smith.
Well, how you said, you know how they say opposites attract? We were opposites.
Yeah.
She was quiet and I was outgoing, but she brought peace to me. When I say a peace, I was comfortable with her all the time. And we had these discussions, you know, when we first started dating we talked about marriage before we got married, about how we wanted a marriage to be. And, you know, I was that guy that said I would never get married. You know, I had got my heart broke, so I was going to play the field. I would never get married. And I remember walking up to Coach Williams' house one night, knocked on the door. I said, man, I'm finna get married. He said, you lying? I reached in my pocket and showed him an engagement ring. And it was just a like the old folks say, when you get pecked by the right hand, you know it. and there's nothing you can do. And I tell young folk, when you meet the right one, it's over with. You know,
That's right.
my friends used to laugh at me about, you need to go here. I said, I'm good, cuz. I got what I need. She got sin. She go to church. She can cook. She ain't crazy. I'm with that. But she brought a calmness in a time where 25, 26, 27, I was getting ready to wild out, you know. And brought a calmness to get me where I'm at today.
That's great. Mr. and Mrs. Pleasant, what made y'all fall in love with one another?
Ooh, this man bought me. This man right here. This man right here bought me a whole bunch of peace. I was at my wits. You know, I was like, you know what? I ain't gonna never get married. I didn't have a clue. I was in my late 30s when I got married. And and I fell in love, and I was like, oh yeah, this is it. And I've been in love. And when he tells me that he loved me, it's genuine. When somebody tell you that they love you and then they show you every day, every day that he loves me and he don't mind telling me. This is my baby right here.
Oh. Payday comes on Friday. Well, on my behalf, this is my second time around. This is my second marriage, and I was kind of like Mr. Smith said. I was out there, and at a young age, I grew up. My mother was real strict on me. I grew up, and I was doing any and everything. So went to the military and got out and came back and had her married, and then I came into and didn't work out as well, and then I found her. We were both kind of on a trail. She had a boyfriend and her daughter's father, and he wasn't doing what he's supposed to be doing, standing up, being there for. Okay, myself, I was out there, had a couple of stepchildren, and I didn't do everything that I should have did, that I could have did, being there for her, saying that I love somebody. It was hard for me to love somebody because at that time, I didn't really love my own. So I had to grow and learn a little bit, but when we came together, we both had situations, and we just talked and talked and talked, and we came to know each other and just enjoyed each other's company. It wasn't the sex thing, anything. We just enjoyed each other's company, and we just over a period of time we just learned how to love each other, and we fell in love, and it's just been magical. And like I said, we were getting ready to have our vows renewed before the coronavirus and everything came on, and we still have plans to do that. But I loved her from the beginning, and I love her still the same, even more now.
Thank you, sir. Mr. and Mrs. Aiken.
Yes, sir.
What made y'all fall in love? What made you fall in love with your wife?
Well, she was a loving person. Well, I ain't gonna say was because that was past tense, but she's a loving person. She's like supportive, and she's a go-getter. She know how to do a lot of things. When it comes to support and help. So as we got to know each other early in the relationship, that's what drew me closer to her, because I knew that I could depend on her. You know what I'm saying? At any time, and of course, all of men know that we can depend on our woman. That's the strength of us. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of pushes us a bit more, drives us a little bit more, because if there's anything that I'm lacking in, then she can catch me. She can catch me on the other side, pull me up on the other side. So just being loving and supportive.
Ms. Akins, you want to elaborate? You want to tell us why you fell in love with your husband?
Yes, I can tell it. So see, I started early. I'm one of those girls. I started real early praying for a husband. I prayed because I had a child before me and my husband. Before me and Jeff even got together, I had a child already. And I'm gonna kind of take it back just a little further before I met Jeff. And I came up in a home where mom and daddy didn't always set hearts. It was like an abusive home. And that was my prayer, that God would send me a husband that loved me for me, all my flaws, and loved my child for what I already had. And, you know, when we're in a woman and think about her past, how we were as, you know, where we're different women, but I was like one of those girls that I would do anything. I would do anything. And Jeff was like my calm down. He was my calm down guy. He was the one that kind of brought me to a settled place in life. Is because he did things that a real man did. You know, we young, we just run around with these little knuckleheads that really don't really love us for us. They just love us for what they can get from us. And so that's how I was. I was with a guy that just wanted what he wanted from me. And then when I met Jeff, you know, he bought me all the lavish things. You know, I just really never had nobody just take me up like on top of a wing. And that's what he did for me. He took me up on top of like a wing, and he scooped me up like things that hurted me way before. It's like it was like a knife in my heart. He took that knife, that stabbing that I had in my heart, he took it out, you know, and that's why I fell in love with him. Because I knew that, I mean, he loved me like no other. He loved me more than daddy loved me more than any man had loved me. And I mean, I just fell in love with him. And now I'm telling you, there is nothing that I can, if I ask for it, if I even say I think I want, he's right there to make sure I have. I may not get it when I want, but he makes sure that I get whatever I ask for, just to make me happy and to always please me.
All right now, Jeff.
Okay.
Mr. and Mrs. Williams. What was the question?
Shut up.
What made you fall in love with your wife?
Somewhere they call you got a number?
He said,
a couple things made me do it, but I guess when we first met.
Don't go to the whole story.
I'm going to go into the whole story.
No,
you know, to me, you first got to be attracted to somebody. That's his point blank. That's my feeling. You got to be attracted to her. She was a beautiful young lady. She was young when I met her, and her personality and the little southern twang voice she had. Of course, you know, she had a little hee-haw in her. And
could you just go to the actual thing and get the,
you know, and her smile, but the biggest thing is she was real personable as far as to me. But the more, you know, year 1, year 2, year 5, year 10, year 15, you don't just fall in love instantly. You fall more in love every year that you married. In 27, 28, 29 years we've been together, you know, is more and more. But the first attraction, you know, the beauty is attractive, but her actual intelligence for somebody so young, as far as when I first met her. And I sort of knew, okay, I'm gonna keep you. But
I'm dying over here.
that was like the first English as far as when I fell in love with her. From there.
Miss Williams.
For me, it was definitely those white Jabot jeans that he had on when I met him in that club. He was fine. That was the attraction. But what made me fall in love with him, honestly, was I watched the way that he made sure that his mother was always taken care of. If he had no pennies, he had $1 to give her. And I felt like if a man will take care of his mother, he will take care of his family. And that's why I fell in love with him.
Mr. and Mrs. Tate, what made y'all fall in love? What is it about your spouse that you fell in love with about her, Mr. Tate?
Man, he caught me doing the thumb with you. They've already said, but I can't put it no other way. It's just peace. A pastor I knew locally in my community said one time, he said, your wife ain't always going to be the one to make you go, oh, every time she walks in. I'm like, Pastor, that's crazy. Of course, your wife has to make you go, oh, every time she walks in. But it wasn't at all. It was something else. It was like just a calm that I never felt before. It was I belonged. It was like whenever she would come over, like I said, I had a bachelor pass. She'd come over to see me. It felt better when she was there. It felt better holding her. It felt better just sitting there with her, just talking with her. What really just made me realize she had this nurturing spirit. I was sick one night. I told her, don't come over. I'm not feeling well. She came over anyway and tried to take care of me. And right then, I was kind of like, it wasn't right then instantaneous. I was even denying it for myself. I was like, okay, she's something different. But I'm not looking back now. That was a moment where I realized, yeah, she's great. I ain't never told you that now.
That's sweet. Aww.
Miss Tate?
I think for me, I fell in love. What? I call him a gentle giant. He's like my gentle giant.
I ain't in that bed though.
But you're bigger than me. I'm real small, so he's really taller than I am.
And I ain't that tall.
And I think for me, his personality, his caring spirit, he care about people. He's a educator, so he care about, people, his community, and he's personable. For me, that's a good thing because I was engaged before. And the fact that he got to get along with my family and he get along with my friends, because I'm very outgoing, and he calms me. So I think that's what really, really did it for me. The fact that he could calm me. I remember being very upset one time, and I went over there, went to his house, and he was like, he just looked at me, and instantly I felt a coming over me. And I think that did it for me, and that made me fall in love with him. The fact that he's my peace, my joy, my peace.
Greater house that they put.
And I think that's what did it for me. And then he's attractive too, so
okay.
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Beckham.
Yeah.
What made you fall in love with Jawaski?
Oh, that's the $1 million question. Honestly, if I can just be honest, I've fallen in love with him twice, or at least 2 times that I can remember. The first time, it was just like head over heels. I love this boy Dirty Draws from day one. Like when I met him, it was instant. But somehow, if I'm being honest, somehow along over the years, it kind of, this marriage could write a book by itself. But over the years, we've had our ups and our downs, and some were longer than others. But honestly, and I hate to keep going back to the whole AVM or whatever, but about 2 years ago, when I went through my 3-4 month hospital stay, and waking up and him being right there, like, that was the best. Like, he is the best. Jawaski is everything I can't even say dreamed of. But this man, he does it all. He takes good care of me. He takes good care of our family. And it's like I get to fall in love with him over and over again. And I don't want to keep repeating myself, but I done fell out of love with him before. It's been times when if I thought I could avoid a sentence, I would have been the one to pull the trigger. But I can't see myself living without him either. So that might be what's saving it. But what was the question, y'all? When did I fall in love with him? I guess the most recent time has been a couple of years ago. The first time was probably a week after I met him. So I don't know. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, you answered it.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Mr. Belton.
Dubin, when you fell in love with me, Dubin? What made you fall in love with me?
I mean, when we met, you know, like I say, she took the shot 8 in the morning, you know what I'm saying? As we kept dealing, found out she was smart, like 28, 29, ACT, high IQ. So she was smart, but, you know, in that era, we was young. So she was
I was young.
I was 24, you was 19, that's young.
No, I was.
So, but anyway, we was young. And then along the way of getting to know each other, man, we had a little one, made a little one from the, I guess, too many shots of hen, but we had a little one. You know, we got a kid, so we got to really get to know each other. You know, we dug it at first when we was doing what we do dating, but then find out, you know, we kind of got a situation where we got to really dig deep and see what it is about us and do we want to do it. And, you know, we hit it off and we wanted to do it. And I actually married and she married me. And like I say, it was young. So as far as the love deal, man, it's kind of like I fell in love with the process of falling in love, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because we was young. You know, like everybody, puppy love, wherever you may think it was, but we was young and we've been through a lot. In that process, we grown stronger. We've gotten to know each other a lot better. And, you know, we had a chance to raise our kids, you know, and that's the plus. You know, it was some up and downs. You know, you ask some of these questions and you got some real questions on there and make you think if you never think, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so we just fell in love with the process. You know, like I said, we was young. We didn't have a clue. I didn't have a good visual of, you know, kind of what a marriage should be or be like. So it's just kind of like trial and error. We was moving along, trying to get it done. And we came a long way, you know, learning on our own. A lot of mistakes.
Thank you, sir. So this question is for Mr. Mann, Miss Williams, Mr. Beckham, and Miss Pleasant.
Ooh, listen up.
What kind of boundaries protect your marriage? And I'll start with you, Mr. Beckham. What kind of boundaries protect your marriage?
You always start with me with the hard one. Give me that. You gotta let somebody go first.
Let's go. Let's go, Coach.
Oh, good. Boundaries. I mean, it's like just like with a friend. What are your boundaries make you and your friend kind of have problems? And that's honesty. I mean, you got to be honest. You got to be truthful. It's hard to have things continue building with somebody supposed to be on your team. You know, you the CEO, y'all partners, y'all own this company, and one of them you're untrustful, unworthy. It's hard to continue that marriage in a healthy light, I think. You know what I mean? Yeah, you may continue, but you have a lot of headaches and a lot of situations, you know what I mean? Because the trust just not there. I mean, like with boundaries, like you got to have a boundary. Certain things you can't do. You may do some things, but it has to be that limit that, okay, it's going to cost everything. And so, you know, I just think the trust is you got to have that. I feel for us, for me right now, where I'm at, you know, maybe I can have some other answers, better answers in my head. But for me right now, boundaries, you have to be able to trust each other. There's certain things with that I think you can't cross, I guess, if that answers your question.
Do you remember the question?
Boundaries.
What about it?
What boundaries you can't cross?
No, that's not the question.
What's the question again?
What kind of boundaries protect your marriage?
Oh, trust.
Damn.
Still mess it up.
Mr. Man, what kind of boundaries protect your marriage?
Back to me.
Man, come in and say that shit.
Hold on, Mr. Man. Mr. Man, hold on one second. We're going to go back to Mr. Beckham. What kind of boundaries?
Keep going.
Oh, okay then. I apologize. I thought you wanted to come back later. Mr. Man, what kind of boundaries protect your marriage?
Oh, protect your marriage.
Yes.
Oh, girlfriend, gotta still trust. You gotta protect her. You gotta trust her.
Jesus.
For me, man, that's cut and dry. You know, keep your business your business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cut and dry.
Miss Pleasant,
Hey,
what kind of boundaries protect your marriage?
is keeping your folks at your business, and that protects your your marriage and everything. You keeping your friends and your family at your business, and keeping it off of social media. You got to keep you got to know your role.
Miss
You
Williams,
have to know your role.
Yes.
what kind of boundaries protect your marriage?
Honoring my marriage by keeping our marriage private and not public. That's it.
So, Mr. Smith, Mr. Tate, Miss Mann, Mr. Pleasant, is marriage a necessity or just a piece of paper? Mr. Smith.
I don't know. For different people, it's different things. For me, it was a necessity because I know I wouldn't be where I'm at now if I wasn't married. I'm a firm believer in, you see a lot of successful men that are single, but what they got to go home to?
That's right.
Hell, you can stay at home, mama. If you ain't got nothing to work for, I like my piece of paper. I like my marriage. I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't know how to act if I was single. I know I wouldn't be where I would be now, where I'm at now, if I wasn't married. But young folks look at it different now. I'm still from the old school type of way. I think it's a necessity right now in our current society in America. Marriage is a necessity for a black man and black woman for us to get back where we got to get as a family unit and as a African American culture. We've got to get the husband and wife back together in the house raising our kids. Point blank period. For right now, it's a necessity for us to move forward as a race and as a community and as just black people, period.
Exactly.
Miss Mann, is a marriage a necessity or just a piece of paper?
It's a necessity. And I agree with everything that Milton said. We've moved so far, I think, but I can't imagine doing life by myself. And I can't imagine growing old by myself. And if you're going to be in a relationship long-term with someone, I just don't understand why you wouldn't really cement that and make it official. So I do think marriage is a necessity, and it's definitely something that we should embrace. And again, as Milton said, with that could be such a great backbone for our community. I think it's a necessity.
Mr. Pleasant.
Yes, sir. It's a necessity because for one, you want to kind of leave an inheritance also. Loving somebody and loving them for a long period of time, that's a great thing to have. And you want to also, as while you're married and you're loving each other, you want to teach along the way. When you have children, you want to teach them also the same thing. You have in some marriages when you're teaching this, when you're teaching this, that don't always come out the way that the way that you plan. But hopefully and prayerfully that you do learn something along the way. So it is a necessity, not just a piece of paper.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Akins, Mr. Smith, Mr. Williams, What's your secret to making your marriage work for this lifetime, over 20 plus years that it's been going? Mr. Williams, if you don't mind starting off.
I'm gonna start this off. It's no secret. I've been asked that 100 times as far as, because as long as me and my wife been married, and usually most of all my friends, you know, I'm usually the one that's been married the longest. There is no secret. There's no secret sauce or what you gotta do every day. The main thing that I look at every day is respect. I would never call my wife out of her name. I would never, we fuss, we argue, everybody do it. But she's a part of me. And by me disrespecting her, I'm disrespecting myself, and I love myself. So I would never disrespect her in that sense of, as far as trying to make somebody else happy. So as far as, if I would say one thing, and the only thing is, as long as you respect your wife, you respect your marriage. That. I guess if you can say that's one thing that's you know, your secret sauce is respect. Because if you respect her, you're gonna follow her needs and her wants. At the same time, you're not gonna put her or yourself out of your place.
Mr. Akins, what's your thing to hold on, he's still.
Okay, yes, sir.
What's been your ingredients or your sauce of making your marriage that's been working for this long, or this longer period of time?
Okay, yeah, I thought that's what I heard it was. Yeah, I heard Reggie say there's no secret sauce, and I agree with that. That, you know, there's no secret sauce. I think number one, love and respect for yourself, and then love and respect for your spouse. You know, and just, you know, using that as an ingredient for day-to-day living. So you use those two. If you say ingredient per se, I'm gonna put love and respect in it, you know, every day. So that means if she's not feeling well, you know, I get up and cook breakfast that morning. You know, if I'm not feeling well, you know, she, you know, does the same thing. You know, we just feed off of each other. So we do that day to day, and we try to make each other's day as best as possible. So, you know, you already got situations that you got to deal with at work, you know, co-workers, you know, saying people that you interact with out on the road and things of that nature. So just trying to make each day as pleasant as possible. And then when you have a hard, tough day, you know, helping them to get through that day. So, you know, it'd be times where, you know, I might not feel like listening to her and what went on with her today, but I had to come into the house and, you know, I just had to sacrifice and just sit down and give her an attentive ear and say, you know, okay, because if it's something that's bothering her, you know, I don't want to go into, you know, anybody else out there in the streets or whatever, you know what I'm saying, to, you know, talk about her issues with, you know what I'm saying. So, you know, I sit there and I talk about it and I find out what I can do to help her or make her feel better, whether it be, I might have to be her punching bag for the day, you know what I'm saying, just to, you know, to get the frustration from whatever she's dealing with. So we just work at it day to day, and we just put love and respect in it every day, you know what I'm saying, and just call each other throughout the day. Hey, what's going on? What's been up with you? How your day going? You know what I'm saying? And you know, she does the same thing for me. So I say love and respect.
Thank you, sir. Miss Smith, wake up. Wake up, Miss Smith. What's been going on to make your marriage sustain and last for 25 plus years?
We have been through a lot together. He has been patient with me. I've been patient with him. He's supportive. There's a lot of things that he has done that has been very beneficial to us, to me, to our children, to this marriage. He I don't know all the words right now. Yes, put it in words. Okay.
I think what you trying to say, we grew up together. You know, we were both young when we got married, and we grew up together. We learned each other. And I tell all these young guys, man, if you with a lady, and I always respected her, never called out a name. You know, I don't do the physical part, not all that other foolishness. But when I saw my son born, it was over with. It was over with. There was no going back to it. We grew up and we learned each other. We learned what flipped each other's switch and what cut each other's switch off. Because we can look at each other and know if something's wrong.
Can't we? Yeah.
So
know what you're saying right there.
just growing up and learning each other keeps down a lot of confusion.
Right.
And for the young men in the bunch, like I tell these young kids, know when to go home. You ain't got to stay out all night with your partner. You know, my wife don't stay out late anyway, and I'm usually in the house by 12 o'clock, regardless of what's going on, unless it's blue and white weekend. You know, I may stay out a little late then. But I think we grew up with each other and learned each other, and we respect each other, and we both want to be married.
Yeah,
Both
that makes a difference.
That's a difference.
That makes a big difference when you want the marriage.
You know.
12 o'clock, Milton. Dang, I gotta come on and get a little bit. I can't get 12 o'clock.
Reggie, you can call all my partners. They'll tell you at 11:45 he's going to the house. He don't care what's going on.
He better be in here at 9.
I got to be there until the street light come on. When street light come on, I gotta get up in the house.
That ain't true.
I'm like, hey, we're looking for some golf balls.
Golf ball.
Hey, so we go doing a lot of reading, different researches. I have read and heard that finance play a big part in the marriage.
Oh yes.
So this for Mr. Smith, Miss Williams, Mr. Tate, Mr. Becker. How do you make your finances work within your marriage?
Who started? Me?
Go ahead,
Mr.
Smith.
You got Wilson. Yeah, you go ahead, Mr. Smith.
I think when we first got married, that was a big problem with us because, you know, as a single man, I wasn't comfortable with letting, we had a joint account. And it's hard for my wife to tell me what to spend my money on if I'm out there working. And hard for me to tell her what to spend her money on. So what I wound up doing, we had joint split accounts. We wound up splitting accounts so we can stay together. I just couldn't deal with that. And still can't deal with it. But for me, finances were, if you need, I got. I don't care what I got to do. If I got to get another job, I'm gonna make it work. You ain't gonna have to worry about nothing. If whatever she does with her check, she pays some bills on her check. But my thing is make sure house note paid, all the car notes paid. If we got to go on a trip somewhere, I got it. Kids need something, I got it. Just for me, it was me being the provider. If she didn't want to spend a quarter, that was cool with me. That's how we make finances work. I've learned if you treat money like it don't matter, it'll come back to you. You can't hoard money. You can't be so tight on it. So, I get fussed at because I like cars. I like cars, golf stuff, and fish stuff. And she knows this. So she don't fuss at me when I go spend money on the stuff I do because she know if she needs something, I'm still going to make it happen regardless. That's just how we deal with finances. I just try to make sure she's never worried about where money coming from, how much money we got, and stuff taken care of. Now she may say different.
Well, I'm the nitty one, and I like to save. My husband is so free-hearted where he would give and give and give, and I'm like, no, let's give some, but don't run out. So I'm the strickler.
I'm better. I'm better.
You have gotten real. I mean, much. But it is what it is. So you're always gonna have one that's gonna make sure everything is done, and the other one's gonna spend. I think, but over the years, like you said, he does awesome. I mean, it didn't start like that.
No, it
didn't start like that.
It started sometimes.
It's a learning process.
When we was on bologna and hot dogs, when I was coaching, we was on that hot dog and bologna deal at the end of the month, because we wasn't getting a check till the 31st, so you do what you got to do for the last 5 to 7 days. But you live and learn. You live and learn, and how to as you get older, you start making sure the right stuff is taken care of, and man, life is. She always gets on me, man. Life is short. When you start burying your friends and start seeing folks one day and they gone the next, enjoy some of your money. That's what I tell you. You got to enjoy it, man. Because hell, we may not be here tomorrow. But I always told her I want people to be able to say, or her to at least be able to say, he enjoyed himself while he was here. There's never been a hearse following a funeral procession to dump some money in the grave. So, like I tell her, we're going to pay bills, we're going to make sure everything's taken care of, but we're going to enjoy some too. So we just, enjoy life, spend what you can spend, put a little tape back, but enjoy it.
And I think that I had to learn that over the years, is to enjoy some of your money. I grew up poor, so I know what it feels like to not have this and not to have that. But overall, it's a work in progress, and it has worked out.
Thank you. Ms. Williams.
Okay, well, I'll say this and be quiet. Okay. When we entered this marriage, we were babies, and so I had no clue of what finances were. Reggie's degree happens to be in economics, so he was a better balance, and he came from a working class family where everybody had to pull their part. I came from a family where my father was the provider and the wife did nothing. My mother didn't work outside the home until after they divorced. So that being said, I married knowing that he was the provider, he is my protector, and he is the prophet. I had to get with that prophet part, especially about that finances, because I like to spend, and I don't like anybody to control my spending a lot. I'm a spender. So one of the things that we had to do to compromise and make peace and happiness in our home was to make sure that for major purchases, cars, homes, whatever, we sat down as a couple and made sure that works for our budget.
Louis Vuitton purses.
Louis Vuitton purses are in my budget. Okay, so so anyways, I had to let him be that person as far as, because I don't look at finances like he does, and I am the spender, and I will spend. And when I was younger, I didn't spend with the thought process of that we needed to take care of the household. I thought that was his job, and he does a very good job at that. But he is a saver. He's very frugal with his spending, and he definitely believes in sustainability as far as for future things, investments, providing for the family, home, college for the kids, all those things. And that being said, he had to present it to me so that I had to look at it to be more important. Our accounts are joint. All of our credit cards are the same. All of our money is the same. It goes into one pot. So we know collectively what we spend. Sometimes I wish not, because Mr. Williams will call me when I'm spending.
I get the alerts.
He gets alerts. But with saying that, you have to think of your family and your household. So even though I do spend quite a bit, I know that I would never put our family in jeopardy because of my spending habits. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Tate, the newlyweds.
Yeah. And that was one of the biggest things we had to adjust to. Like she said before, I met her, I was out here living the bachelor life. I just had to focus on me. Just paying my car note, my rent, my insurance. And then it shifted. And we had to start making decisions that were best for us. So our finances work because we both work. We're willing to go that extra mile. I've done tutoring after school sometimes, trying to earn extra. She teaches another class. And whatever we lack, and we accommodate one another. When she's teaching those pharmacy classes late at night from like 6 to 9, I got the little bundle of joy right here. And I got to do all home stuff with him, cook, take care of that. It's just supporting one another for what we both want. We've set goals on what we wanted. We were planning to go on a big family trip to D.C. before the quarantine and all the COVID things happened. And we worked towards what we wanted, and we achieved that. So I think the biggest thing I'm trying to get her to realize, we can get things we want, just may got to get a smaller version of it. Don't shake your head. We got to save where we can for the ultimate goal, for the big goal. It's those things about elephant goals. We want to focus on the big thing, the big prize. So we got to do little things in the meantime to get to where we need to be.
So his idea of finance is a little different than mine, and we, being that we're newlyweds, we are learning to tackle this.
And then we made each other so late, so to speak.
But I was born, as my mom used to say, with a silver spoon in my mouth. So I would go. It ain't enough for me to go and shop and spend money, like especially on mouth, like on my kid. I spend some money. So I'm learning to realize, take it back and be like, okay, he's good. He don't need anything. And we have a joint account, so we kind of just be like, okay, what's our bills for the month? And we'll put the money for the joint account, for the money in the joint account, and then we have our separate accounts as well.
Mm-hmm. Trying to get her to realize the $5 toy works as good as the $50 toy. He's fine.
Right.
Thank you.
Now, I tell you this as far as, as far as my sales and economics, we know goals is the ultimate, but you need to take those goals down and put them in yearly goals, monthly goals, weekly goals. Mm-hmm. And then you would actually make that goal. Because if you just say, oh, well, we're going to get this at a certain point, you got to make it all the way down to a weekly goal as far as what you want to do weekly. Because a simple goal is not going to, you're going to have to actually put it all the way down from a yearly, monthly to a weekly goal in order to reach that.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Mr. Beckham. Do I need to repeat your question?
Yes, there you go.
You got it.
Maybe I get it right this time.
Right. How do you make the finances work in your marriage?
Right now in our marriage, we're at a place in life, man, we've been kind of blessed. We went through the struggles. Like, we got married, we was young, no money, but we always was able to, we both were kind of like hustlers a little bit. So we always was able to get money and things like that. But now we got older, now it's like we have a joint account and we have our separate account. Basically, because a lot of times I set up direct deposit at work, I don't ever have certain information. It just kind of end up being stuck that way, but it worked out that way. But we don't do anything special, man. We do the retirement, do all that investment type stuff. But other than that, man, it's kind of like with me, I don't care about much. I don't care about money. I don't care about spending money. I go to work and enjoy the family, but we want to start doing more vacation. But the money-wise, we just at a point now where, you know, it's, she have her money. I really don't even know what she has in her account. And then, but I have my direct deposit and it takes care of everything, you know? So we don't have to really, now we kind of like say blessed to do that. But before then, man, it's been robbing Peter, paying Paul. So you're robbing Peter, pay Paul all day, all year for 5, 6 years. You kind of, money don't even bother you no more. You know what I mean? You're just trying to keep your head above the water. But we got blessed to the point where we don't have to do that no more. But now finance is, she don't ask for much. She don't want to spend much. And now we just think about being able to take that, what we do make, and invest in how to leave inheritance for the kids and set up things for them business-wise while they're in school. Like we got one going to college. We got one in middle school, about to be middle school, 6th grade. So now you're looking at how to find little streams of revenue to come in to go into them. Because I don't need anything as far as like other than doing things for the family, like memories and trips and enjoying life from that standpoint. But
and all I want is a dog. That's
yeah,
it.
and all she wants is a dog. So financial, that's kind of where we've been blessed, man. But beforehand, it was rough. You know, it was rough just trying to figure out how you're gonna do stuff. But now we kind of don't have that problem. So now we just setting up. When you coach, you got to set up because you never know. You may get fired next year and take you 2 years to find a job. So now we kind of on that avenue now, understanding the importance of putting up, you know, because now, like I say, one in college, we finna start reducing size of a house. Some people want to go get bigger houses. We're reducing, thinking about apartment until we build back in Starkville. But, you know, right now in the coaching world, you'll be anywhere. So you always, right now we understand this life is a little different on the collegiate because you never know where you're going to be and what's next.
Thank you, sir. So the next question, we winding it down, everything down. I know Mr. Pleasant, I heard you earlier speak on this, Mr. Tate and the Akins family. How do y'all handle blending a family? And I'll start off with Jeff. Mr. Akins, the Akins family, how do y'all handle blending a family?
Blessing the family. Well, the first thing is when it comes to even thinking about how to bless somebody or what to bless them with.
Mr. Akins.
Blend.
Mr. Akins.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I said about blending a family.
Oh, blending. Oh,
yes.
You said blending. Well, I mean, when I met my wife, my daughter Nisha was, I was just thinking about where I was with that question, what I thought you was asking. But when I first met my wife, you know, my girlfriend at the time, or, you know, dating at the time, her daughter was 3. So when we moved in together, you know, the first thing that you got to do is, one thing that she did do is, she didn't bring me around her daughter immediately because we didn't know if we was going to work out. So we needed to make sure that we was going to work before, you know, we did the, and by this time, my son was born. So we didn't just, you know, jump in and move in together. We need to make sure that, you know, we knew each other, we knew about each other, and that we, you know, wanted to go forward. And then as we started to do the blending thing, because of course she wasn't my biological daughter, you know, the first thing that I needed to do, because I came from a household where, you know, my daddy left when I was 3. So the man that came into the household didn't necessarily take to me, and I didn't take to him. You know what I'm saying? So I had to get the understanding of knowing my daughter, you know, seeing who she is, what she like, because, you know, the biology of her that comes from someone else, you know, we're gonna have mixed feelings. So, but of course she's a child, she didn't ask to be here. So that means, you know, as an adult, you know, we shouldn't treat the child as if, you know, like, you know, they had a, you know, had a say-so in the situation. So we, you know, I started to spend time with her, you know, let her get to know me and talk to her about, you know, who I am and who she is and my relationship with her mother. And then we just kind of grown, and, you know, now, you know, people ask me, you know, how many kids I got 3. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like, you know, I had to say, well, I got 2 biological kids and 1 stepchild. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but of course, a lot of us had to grow into those situations because there's no blueprint for it. You know what I'm saying? So the blended part, you know what I'm saying, it was fairly an easy transition, an easy process for me. And I can't say that for other people, but, you know, because some people may have been married before they was married to someone else and things like that. So I can't speak on that. But as far as me, you know, mine was an easy transition.
Okay. Mr. Pleasant. How do you handle, how was you able to handle blending a family?
Well, it wasn't hard for me. My father died back in 1975, and he's been dead probably 45 years. And my mother remarried, so I had a stepfather. And back those years, people didn't understand, and they didn't really care as much about coming to a household. But I had my mom there. She was the one that was the driving force that said, no, this and that. You're going to treat my child right. If we're going to be together, we're going to be married. You're going to treat my child right. But this person still had their way of doing things. And I think he died thinking the same ways. He treated my brother kind of crazy, me. So I said to myself, I had to learn some things and not take that into marriage or relationship with me. And if I got remarried, and when me and my wife, we started dating and got married, she had a daughter. So it wasn't hard to blend in with her. She was a little, a little hard-headed, this and that. We had certain ways that things that we wanted to do, but it wasn't hard. It was just the fact that having to understand that somebody's there for you, caring and trying to do the very best for you. The way I looked at it, well, you're not you actually have 2 dads. You, like I said, you have your biological dad and you have me. So that was one of the things that I wanted to kind of implement into the plan. So blending wasn't really a problem as far as children. And the children on my side, they weren't my biological kids, but they know of each other, and so it wasn't a bad problem with us.
Mr. and Mrs. Tate, would you like to comment?
I was pretty adamant that early on when we first started dating, I didn't want to meet Miles yet because she showed me pictures. She told me stories. I said, I'm going to fall in love with this kid immediately. I need to make sure I love her first. So when I fell in love with her and I started feeling real good with her, I started being around him more. And he was young, and Miles was about to turn 2, and he's about to turn 4 now. About my big good, and he wasn't even 2 yet. They just turned 2 when he started being around me even more. And I just he first of all, the little rascal is charming. I want y'all to know that. You can see that. Look at that. That right there is 3-year-old condensed cuteness that would tear up a room in 5 seconds and then make you feel bad for fussing at them. He is a master of that. So when I met him, and I think there wasn't even no awkwardness period. When he first came over to visit, he climbed right up in my lap, and I was like, "Oh, this is my boy." Oh. And from that point on, he's been my boy. He is my boy. That's my son. Like there's no other way to put it. And I think that's what just made it so easy. Just I love him, and I don't think of it. That's why when I saw that question, I didn't think of us as a blended family because that's my boy. The Sour Patch Kid with the jaws.
I appreciate that. Hey, we've been having a great conversation. This Mississippi Vibes with Bert. I have a great lineup of family. We have actually 135 years a marriage going on with the Williams family, the Smith family, the Akins family, the Tate family, the Beckham family, the Mann family, and the Pleasant family. So we're going to have a little fun before we exit this program. Reggie, I'm going to start off with you because I know you're going to bring it to me.
Oh, Lord.
Yes, sir.
That's my Joseph Creek boy there. What was the worst hairstyle you seen your spouse with when y'all first met?
Don't answer that question.
No, I'm gonna tell it.
Reg, why are you yelling?
Tell it. Yell it.
What was it? The time I put that weave.
She had the black Shirley Temple weave cut in her head when we was in Starkville.
Yeah.
She went in. I said, "Don't do it." I said, first of all, you ain't black enough.
Oh no.
She had the weed that, she went and put in, and it looked like the Shirley Temple curl, and it didn't work. But I still love my baby anyway. I still loved her. I said, "You look good."
You like good.
Well, actually, I was like, you like that? Because you got to ask the question. You like that? Because she's like, yeah. I said, okay, man.
And then he said I wasn't black enough. That's what he said.
Hey, I'll say that 20 years later.
Yeah.
So, Ms. Williams, you ever seen something that was, off of Reg, or he always had the low, or he come with the slope and then?
When I met him, he had a high top fade.
I had my kid in play.
Yeah, but I love that about him. He's actually always plays everything safe, so I can't say that he's as adventurous as I am with trying to do a hairstyle. So you always play it safe. Yeah.
Mr. Smith.
You gonna love
What's the worst? What's the worst hairstyle your wife came with?
My wife she tried a weave last year for a trip to Mexico. well, I'm gonna say this. My wife looked nice with it. I'm just not. My wife has good head of hair. I prefer her not to have it. So when she said, "How does it look?" I said, "Baby, it looks good." But when she took it out, I did tell her I didn't like it. But I'm just an old school type guy. My wife,
I'm like you, Milk.
My wife rarely wears makeup. She says she's a plain Jane, but she's not. When she wants to get there, she gets there. But she can do her own hair. But when she put that weave in, I was like, I didn't want. I wasn't trying to mess up a trip to Jamaica or go with some hair.
Hey, you knew the playbook, Milk. You knew the playbook.
That was my only time ever trying weave, so I wanted to try it, and I thought it looked awesome to me.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
That's right.
Now she was still beautiful, but I'm just not a weave guy.
Right.
Especially if she's got good hair and she can style her own hair and looks good doing it. There's no need to spend that money. It's good for some women, but I just like mine like she is.
I'm with you on that.
He'll agree with you.
Jaworski. So what's the worst hairstyle you done seen your wife come with?
I just want you to know that.
I'm trying to find a camera to see if I can show it. Call it the goddamn. That's the first one.
I like the goddamn.
It was all right. See, Rocket, I ain't too much careful.
I like the goddamn.
Oh, that was it.
I liked it.
I ain't too much. I liked it, but we could have did without that one.
Oh, he said you could deal without that.
Hey, Brandon.
Oh,
Mr. Man.
no.
What is that hairstyle Don came through prancing with that you were like,
Hey, I saw some pictures of Dawn in high school, man. She had a damn mullet.
Mullet.
The mullet beat the goddamn.
That was a half ball. A half ball.
That was a Joseph Creek mullet.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see the mullet. Show me the mullet.
He had a prom picture with a mullet. But I didn't know it then. But when we first got married, Dawn had long hair. And, you know, I ain't whatever. And then she said she was going to cut it off, man. She cut it off. I was like, damn. And she had it short ever since. So she's, that's the look.
That's what.
Good sugar, dog. Good sugar.
Mr. Tate.
Yes, sir.
Might miss round, get lucky.
What's your hairstyle?
I plead the fifth.
Okay.
But for real though, I don't think I've ever seen her with a bad hairstyle. Like I said, we've only been together for a short amount of time, and she's been on board with every hairstyle. I like it. I love the natural right now though.
I love you playing safe.
That might be my
It's that
favorite
newlywed
hairstyle
stuff.
that she's
Good answer.
Yeah, you playing safe. Good answer.
Good. Hey, real good. Real good.
Good answer.
I get some nookie.
Right there.
Hey, what? Let me see. Mr. Jeff,
Yo,
tell me about the worst hairstyle that you done seen your wife with that you just, hey.
yeah, the ones you got to question.
Right.
Yeah, she had one when I first met her, and she said they call it banana peel. Banana what? Banana peels or something like that. I was like, hey, I'm gonna have to show you a different way. Let me show you something else.
Hey, Jeff. What's a banana peel now? You gotta explain the banana peel.
Man, listen.
That's the flat iron with the
crinkle.
See that?
The crinkle, yeah.
Hey, she had one. See that? She know. She had one.
I didn't have one.
Listen.
I was like, no, I didn't have one.
Listen. I mean, it was, she had it laid now, but I just ain't never seen it before. So I was like, you know, when you first time seeing something, you're like, oh,
You weren't
know about
ready.
that one. But you know,
Took it too fast.
yeah, she do her own hair too. So, and you know, she don't wear the weave, and you know, and I ain't got nothing against nobody who do that or whatever. But like, I be like, what Milt said, if you can do your own hair, you know, why go spend some money doing hair or going to a beautician? You know, not trying to take no money out of nobody's pocket, but I'm just saying, you do it good when you do it yourself. But when she had that banana peel now, my first time seeing that, I was like, I had to swallow that one. I ain't know how to take that one. But after that, I think I said it. You know, sometimes we say it the wrong way. You know, we might look the wrong way or say something the wrong way.
Yeah.
And I had to, you know, she kind of felt some kind of way about it, but she ain't wear it no more. So, but I asked her, I said, why you don't wear that no more? She was like, I don't know. You ain't like it. I said, no, it was that different. But you know what I'm saying? So, you know.
Hey, Mr. Pleasant.
Yes.
Come on, Mr. Pleasant. Come on with it now. I know Pam came with something that, you know.
Well, Bert, I'm going to tell you, I can't exactly remember any bad ones. I can't remember any bad ones that she had, but just one style she had, I didn't know what it was called, and you know she has her head is a little larger in the front. You know what I'm talking about.
See, that type of bullshit I be talking about.
It's a little larger in the front, and when you have your hair back to the back, and you're seeing that, it just doesn't look totally, right. So that
No.
I don't know what the hairstyle was, but she still looked nice, but I don't know what the hairstyle was, but it didn't look
Miss Williams.
right for
See,
her.
don't pay him no mind.
I am not paying him no mind.
Do not pay him any mind because I have never had a bad hairstyle because I have a really nice braid of hair and I can do these.
Pam,
Talking about eyelashes.
Pam.
Huh.
I'm with you, girl.
Pam, can your husband explain the worst hairstyle he done seen you with without you?
Can't.
No.
I don't know what it was, Bert, but it didn't look the greatest. But I love her head. I love her all over. I don't know what that hairstyle was.
Reel that back in. Reel that back in.
It's gonna be amazing if you don't hush.
See, that's what I'm talking about. See, he messy. See, like I said, me. I had did this hair, what they call this thing, Milton fade, whatever it is. This stuff where they sew the stuff in. See, I'm not used to that. Them sew ins with the lace front or something. Hell, I must have had a nightmare and went to pulling and snatching in that thing because I thought somebody had jumped on me. I must have had one of them hot flashes. I'd never do that again.
I don't know what it was, Bert, and I
thought this man had put a pillow over my head.
She said, I thought this man had put a pillow over my head.
All in all, she looks great, Bert. With that hairstyle and all, she made it work for what it was worth.
Right. You doing right, Mr. Pleasant. You know, I don't want you to be on the couch for 30 days.
Oh no.
Yeah, that couch is kind of soft. I need a firm mattress.
That couch ain't bad.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey, check this out. We got one thing, and I'm gonna wrap it up. One more thing before we wrap it up. Who the worst cook out the family?
Oh, we're both good cooks.
Now, Ms. Williams, you say.
Oh, you know what? Fuck it, I take it. I used to be a good cook, but I have a brain injury. I don't remember how to do anything. I don't know what to go in with. What you pointing at? Oh, I try really hard sometimes, but no, I take that back. That's a lie. I tried a couple of times when I first got out of the hospital. I don't try anymore. Jaworski has become an amazing cook, so I let him have it. I don't go in the kitchen until it's time to eat. I don't even have to fix my plate no more. He cooked the food, he fixed the plate, he bring it to me. I'll be the worst cook. I'll take that.
Let me tell you, I love cooking now.
And he loves cooking now. I love it.
Because we can go to Chili's and like the buffalo salad at Chili's, you type in the Google and get the recipe, you can go home and make the same thing. I've been just having fun with it.
He just experimenting. I don't know what the hell I be eating.
Yeah, it's kind of peace now. That's my getaway.
I don't know what it is. I don't ask any questions. He cook it, prepare the plate.
Where you getting it from?
I got his dessert. We good, baby.
Yeah. So I'm the best cook, no doubt.
Now. Say now. Say I'm the best cook now.
I said it because I didn't cook then, so you can say for now. I cook now.
He couldn't even fucking grill. He burnt up everything on the grill.
Men on here, don't be saying that. All these men on here, you talking about I can't grill.
Keep the business up.
Hey, y'all just said don't put folks in your business. And the shit that came up.
But you can now. It don't matter when we talking history. He can now. He's the best now. In the kitchen, out the kitchen, he got it.
Okay.
I'm gonna be quiet. I ain't no single women over here so I can brag on him since ain't nobody single on here. He the best thing going. Best thing since sliced bread. There you go, baby.
Hey, I'm gonna give you some pop-up waffles tomorrow at the toaster.
I want my omelet. Don't play no games.
Nicole.
Yeah.
I done ate a lot of meals at y'all house. We ain't gonna get into all that, while I was over there eating, but
yeah.
Who Who the worst cook now? Who the cook?
You got she cooks.
That would be my husband.
She cooks.
He grills. But
Off a gas grill or do we use charcoal?
Charcoal.
Come on, Bert. That don't matter, Bert. That don't matter, Bert.
So, man, you use gas?
Well, I mean, you can't use no gas. Hold on now. You can't
Hold on, man. You using gas?
Charcoal.
Yes.
Hey, hamburger tastes the same, dog.
Oh, Lord.
I ain't tried propane yet, but I only use charcoal.
A lot quicker.
Which one, the gas?
Yep.
Yes.
Turn it on, walk away.
I might give it a shot one day.
But his birthday's coming up. Thank you, guys. Thank y'all.
Wait, what?
We did it for Father's Day about 5 years ago. Got him one that's gas and charcoal. Switch.
Oh yeah.
Get you a green egg and you'll never go back.
Yep. I heard about those
green egg.
Miss Smith.
Yes.
So I will, with your husband just revealing that he's a gas man and not a charcoal man. You the best cook in the house?
I am the best cook, but I don't eat grill stuff on the outside. I don't eat that. But I am the best cook. Now Milton can cook, but
tell him why I don't cook.
Let's go put you over here.
When Milton cooks, everybody in the house don't like.
I don't get appreciated when I cook. I don't cook.
That means you can't cook.
So you saying you can't cook?
Yes, I can cook. My daughter appreciates my food. My son appreciates my food, and we got Miss right here that I don't like that, so I quit cooking.
So now, Miller, while you was talking, your wife was scratching her head. So that means that now if like my dad used to say, you gonna believe me or my lying eyes? Which one?
Watch it. Watch it. Can your daddy cook?
Oh, that's the daddy's girl. Daddy's girls don't count.
That's right. This is it. Husband decides that he's gonna cook for you, whether you like it or not. Just kind of go along with it, and then that way he'll cook more. So I've learned that.
Hold up. I cooked some lemon pepper wings here a while back. And y'all ate them to the bone.
That was in the inside.
I just choose not to cook. My wife does a great job cooking in the house. I have no complaint. But I can cook. But for the sake of this argument right here,
but they don't know it yet.
She the best cook on the show today.
On the show.
Hey, Brandon.
On the show. Okay.
All right. I like that.
Hey, Brandon.
I got you.
Happy wife, happy life. I told you.
Yeah.
Brandon, who the best cook, Brandon?
Yeah, that's a toss-up.
Depends on what it is, man. When it comes to frying something, I'm the fry daddy. But Don does a pretty good job. I mean, that's I ain't gonna go hungry though.
Y'all let him go hungry.
Mr. Bird.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bird, I have another witness that can say I can cook.
You call him for backup.
Hey, Bill, how much you paying them to say that you can cook?
Hey.
You call him backup.
My kids enjoy my cooking. My wife does not eat anything from the outside, any type of grill food, and I like outside food. I can cook inside, but I just don't cook, Bert.
Okay.
I tell you what, the last time I cooked, I was gonna surprise my wife with dinner when she got home. But I had to call her and tell her to come home early because my back locked up and I almost fell in the oven. That's the truth. That's before I had back surgery.
Right.
But the food came great though.
You remember when you tried to cook some when I was working at Tarzan? And I had to come home making it juice like the chicken was bloody. But you tried.
No, hey, Pam, Miss Pam. I we heard you. What he was trying to cook and he messed up.
My husband, I was coming home. When I was a manager for Toys Up. He said, "Oh, I cooked something." I said, "You did?" He had laid it out, Bert. He had fried some chicken, had cooked some corn, and had did some green beans. And baby, that chicken was so golden brown and pretty. And when I opened that chicken up, almost Kotex paid.
That was 15 years ago, Bert.
Now he can grill. Oh, he's a beast on the grill.
Right.
That was 15 years ago, Bert.
Okay, I understand, Mr. Pleasant. We gotta stick together as black.
But I stay on the inside and cook. You know, I season meat and everything and prepare to go outside to the grill. And he's the grill master because I'm not going out there in the heat.
Oh, Lord.
I do it all.
Hey, Jeff. Hey, Jeff.
Yo.
Who the best cook, man?
Well,
why?
We both good cooks, but you know, of course, I'm the best. But you know, we share the duties. Like she'll cook, you know, soul food and stuff like that. You know, we want our meat grilled or fried or anything like that. You know, I'll do that part. But you know, hands down, you know what I'm saying? I'm the best. Shouts out to the cook-off that we're gonna have this year. I'm gonna show y'all what's popping.
All right, Jeff.
I'm gonna tell you when you know your food good is when everybody is always at your house to eat.
Hey, Jeff, I want to tell you something. Nobody want that dusty ass meat you gonna be cooking. And you keep that meat down in meat market that you bought. We don't want none of that, man.
Hey, I let you know, he's scared. He is scared.
When is the cook-off?
Bert, you better come. Hey, you better come with it, okay?
Okay.
When is the cook-off?
Okay.
When the cook-off?
Okay.
I'm trying to invite myself. When is the cook-off?
September the 5th.
September 5th. What day of the week
Where?
is that?
That's a Saturday.
Damn it, that's game day. Who y'all got September 5th?
You don't know.
Where it gonna be at, Bert?
It's gonna be on Polehouse Road.
Yeah. Just before you get into law.
Hey, but check this though, for real. I really thank y'all for everything that y'all has done for me personally, and for everybody that's watching and that will be able to see this. I have had a long relationship with starting with Don. You know, I grew up in the church at Joseph Creek with her and Reggie. So I was just the little knucklehead with the suit on, 7, 8 years. You know, my daddy, he wouldn't, I couldn't go to church with regular clothes on. You know how Bert do. I don't know why I had to wear a 3-piece suit just to go to sit in this church and to, listen to the word that they were saying. So to Don, to Reggie, to your husband, to your wife, I love y'all. I really appreciate what y'all done for me today. Nicole and your husband, we go a long ways back. I tell it now. Her sister was my first love when I was in the 9th grade. And I mean, I don't know what love, but we was, doing some, some things. Don, quit always making your face, Don. Okay, stop, Don.
You're the only one with the face. I'm like,
right. Don't worry about that, Miss
I'm not being in that club.
No, we weren't in the club.
Y'all were doing a little touching and agreeing.
Should have went to the club.
Not the touching and agreeing.
No, Henderson Hill up there.
No, we was in the living room. But anyway, hey, we'll make sure Ms. Zhu, she was cooking, and Mr. Walden, he was always in the back. He ain't never come out of the room. Only thing I had to watch out for if Nicole wouldn't come out that room. That's the the person I had to watch out for, Reg. Make sure Nicole stayed where she was. So, hey, but anyway, hey, Jawaski, you know, we go ways back, man. I've been knowing your wife since Columbus. I don't know if I don't know who I was. You know, I probably was having fun with, you know, one of her friends. I don't know. But I've been knowing.
It was my sister.
Wow.
Oh, damn.
Okay,
Wow.
Damn, Bert.
all right.
Hey, that was one of them. Yeah.
Right. Hey, but I'm just giving an accurate. I'm just giving an accurate of. I'm giving a history to people.
Hey, I'm with you.
Who will see this and understand that I know y'all people. I got much love and respect. You know, with Jeff and his wife, I met Jeff. Hey, he grew up on the bottom street or north side from my mother. So, you know, I've been knowing these people a long time. Mr. Smith, Mr. Milton, I've been knowing of him for many, many years. And I reached out to him each and every time I called him. He always there to help me, to guide me. I've been riding his inbox for the last week to try to get some stuff worked out in my mind. And so, Miss Smith, I appreciate you for allowing your husband to communicate with me and to help me get on a straight path. You know, I have been I never knew about everything that y'all talked about. I never knew about that. My life has always been fast. My life has always been about who was my target as a woman. So if I seen a target, I zoomed in, and my whole game was about, let's have some fun. You know, and I as I got older, you know, I had an addiction to sex. Sex was my addiction. Sex was my way to get away from any problems, to get away from being the black sheep of the family, to get away from society. You know, if anything came up that I had to deal with that has to do with protecting my family or being the provider or being anything, arguments or whatever, I use sex with another woman to please myself. So as we have fun and we talk about this, it's bringing me to a different area, a different space in my life where I can grow up and I can mature as a man. So I want to thank all of y'all for being able to help me, to help people who's watching, that black marriage and black love is real and that it can be sustained over 20, 30, 40 years. So when I do these shows, I have became comfortable now with being able to expose my life and open the curtain with different myths of what's going on. So much love and respect to all of y'all. I love all of y'all. I thank y'all for y'all time. And hey, once again, we have a great episode with Mississippi Vibes with Bert. And if any of y'all want to say anything before we close out, I just want to thank y'all and salute y'all for y'all time.
Hey, me and Pam may be the oldest one on the call.
Yeah, you are.
Wow, really, Rich? It's all right though. I'll take that. I'm cool with that. It's been an enjoyment to talk to grown people. And I say that to talk to married couples. A lot of times as married couples, you don't have married couples that you can sit down and talk to that's settled married couples. They wilding out, you know, a lot of stuff going on. Everybody on this call is a settled married couple, except for newlyweds, and they getting settled. It was just been a blessing for me to see everybody. You know, I know everybody on the call except for the Tates. I just met the Tates, and I know the Tates family. So, you know, it feel like sitting here talking to family, just working things out. You know, my phone's always open, man. Y'all can hit me up on Facebook. I love to holler at y'all when y'all come to Star with Reggie. I love folding money, but I will take change too when you bring them clubs. I will be waiting. We will have Patron on deck or Hennessy.
Can I come play?
No.
You can fix the drink.
No, you cannot.
They don't want me bartending.
And Jaworski.
Close with some.
Yo,
with some
we're
advice.
gonna be friends until Thanksgiving.
Oh, he said friends.
Okay.
When Thanksgiving come, don't call me.
Hell, I ain't gonna be his friend after on Thanksgiving. I degree say Mississippi State too.
Hell State, baby. Tell them,
Hey.
man.
Hey, well, hopefully a couple more, they'll find Leach. I'll be able to weasel my way back and that'll be the head straight coach. Because y'all messed up. Y'all hired that dude.
Hey, let me tell you something. All he did was sound the alarm and let you know what side he was on.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right.
You say what you want to say. If you saying that in public or if you're doing that on the slide, that's what you're doing behind closed doors.
That's behind closed doors. That's right.
Exactly.
You know, it's gonna be. It will be hard for my son to be there, knowing what your mind is.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know,
Leach different.
He's different. He's not. Joe Moorhead wasn't ready for this, and Leach is not.
He's not Mississippi State.
Leach is not a Southern guy.
Nah.
You know,
West Coast.
Right.
He got to be West Coast.
Yeah, and it is what it is, man. You know, if we play this year, I hope we do well. But it's I won't spend $1 going to game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
So did they still keep him there even after he made that statement?
I can't afford to pay him out right now. I can't give you $6 million or $30
Well, look,
million.
y'all decide.
Can we talk about now we can roast Leach ass next week if y'all want to.
No.
So
Hold on, before y'all roast
but for real, we have. I don't mean to interrupt, be disrespectful. We have spent a lot of time together, and Milton always political and take things in a different zone. I'm just messing with you, Mil. I love you, dude. Hey, for real, Red, the Williams family. Come on, man. What you got to say for y'all head out?
Before we leave the newlyweds, and then maybe some of y'all that just maybe want to take this to heart. One of the things that Dawn and I, as we've been friends since forever.
Since Joseph Creek with the Red Rose.
No, not you and Dawn have. I was at the Red Robe. I was when I met Rich. One of the things that we have taken into value for our marriage is that a lot of times when you have children, you forget about what you had before the children, and you get so inundated with your day-to-day role and task with the children, and you realize as they start to get older, you've lost sight maybe a little bit of what you are to each other. And I say don't get to that point where, especially the newlyweds that you just had going on there, don't get to that point. Make time to vacation separately from the baby and with the baby. We do that, and we also have
kick a kid out.
No, not yet. He's a baby. And make time to have date night, especially because you guys came to the table with a child in tow, and make sure to get back to you, because sometimes a lot of marriages are lost because they get to the point where the kids are older, they move out, they go to college, and y'all are just looking at each other like, what's up?
What we do now?
So I say definitely make time for one another. Make it a job to carve out time for one another. And that has been something that I think we both require from each other. And it works. It helps just to say, even if we don't go just ourselves, we went with other couples, and surround yourself with like-minded people. Everybody from your past or that you are been friends with forever are not going to be moving the same as you move. And if you continue to move with those same people, it could disrupt your family household. And so therefore you have to move with people that have the same morals and values and that you have. And that put family first, don't desire to be out here in these streets, and family and home and each other is the most important thing. And that's my best advice for you guys.
Amen.
Thank you. And I guess from us, we thank you all for like letting us in, because like we are newly married. So thank you all. Thank you, Bert, for doing this, because you know we're newly married, and just hearing the different stories and getting insight is always a good thing. You learn from, you know, there's a bunch of wisdom on this live right now, and I'm thankful that you all shared with us so we can use some of those key points and, you know, be the best we can be.
And Nicole. And as far as to me, my advice is when you're young and you're newly married, don't let your single ego get into your married life, because your single ego will muck up a married life. Because you go from that single ego and you're not compromising, because it's all about, you got to put yourself back to two people, your child and your wife. That's the biggest thing. You got to change your whole mindset. There's a whole total different mindset.
Exactly.
I think it took about 5 years for me to actually probably, you know, learn that. And that's what they say. I guess they say that 5 years, once you make it that 5 years, I don't think it takes 5 years. It's just your maturity. But
yeah, maturity.
And we've been blessed to have friends like Dawn and them to live here in Atlanta with, and our kids have grown up together, and we've vacationed together. But we've even had parties at the house because our asses couldn't go to the club anymore. So we was the club because we didn't want people babysitting our kids, and we didn't drive anywhere. Sometimes we stayed at each other's houses.
So they go upstairs.
Yes, ma'am.
So we learned to enjoy ourselves with people that had the same values.
Yep.
Oh yeah, yeah, most
Confirmation.
Don and Brandon, my sister Don. Don, we go way, way back.
Ooh, that's way too many ways.
But that's how I go. That's how I go, Miss Williams. Yeah, we was talking about that earlier this morning, how far we go back. Yeah,
well, great. I think it's been a great format. I really enjoyed listening to everyone. So I just say thank you for kind of putting a light on something that is not celebrated nearly as much as it should be, because there are Black marriages out there, and there are folks who are out there being successful, and we don't hear about that enough. So thank you for providing this platform.
Love you, Don.
Good job.
And once again, Bert, I appreciate you wholeheartedly for inviting me and my husband to come on to your panel, to give insight and to, listen at other views of what people, how people, view marriages and stuff like that. And to you, Miss Tate, and your husband, congratulations on, on your newlywed, and, and many blessings. And I agree with what Ms. Williams said, that, it's a lot of things, out there can detour you, from being, from having a good marriage. But I do, and I broadly believe in Black love, because it is still there. It's still there. We just got to get back to it.
Yeah.
We have to get back to it.
And like your husband said, we have to make it a legacy.
Yes.
I was listening to him, and it made sense. You have to make it a legacy.
Hey, Jeff, where you at? I can't see you in the dark. You know you Black.
It's Dust Dog outside.
Hey, Dust. You know it, Dust Dog.
Yeah.
Man.
Yo.
Okay, then. Hey, Miss Akins, I see you, baby. I can see you.
Huh?
I can see you, baby. I want to thank you and your husband for being, you know, for having this, you know, remarkable weekend evening with us.
I thank you so much for having us on tonight. I think the last question that I got to talk on, I almost choked on. A lot of times, sometimes when we are married, and me and Jeff don't have a whole lot of, you know, people that we hang out with. Well, I don't have a whole lot of people that I hang with, but I truly enjoyed the couples that's been on tonight. I enjoyed everyone's conversation, everybody's testimony. And I believe I could probably speak for just about everybody. It's something that we can take away from everybody that has spoken on here tonight. And truly, I really do thank you so much. Marriage to me means a lot. It's a covenant that I'm telling you, I wouldn't want to ever walk away with. I tell my kids all the time. My husband, I tell them, you find you somebody like my husband, like your daddy, or find somebody better than daddy.
Amen.
And they're gonna have to really top daddy. And you know, I tell my girls all the time, because you want to live with somebody, and when you live with them, you want to make sure that you like the person that you're living with every day. You want to make sure that's the person that you want to wake up beside every day. And so, you know, I really do appreciate you for having us on tonight, babe.
Yeah, Jim, quit all that talk.
Peace and love to everybody, man. And we wish everybody, you know what I'm saying, many more years of marriage and happiness. Just peace and love, man.
All right, brother. I ain't see for the white shirt, but thank you.
I'm done.
Hey, but yeah, that's it, man. Hey, Reggie, I love you, man.
Love you too, bro. Hey, next time you're in the ATL, y'all need to come holler at me.
You know I will. Hey, Don, I love you and Brandon. Nicole, I love you and your husband. Milton, I love y'all, man.
All right.
Jawaski, I love you, bro.
Love you too, buddy.
I love y'all, man, for real. So, hey,
All right,
Miss Pam, Mr. Pleasant, thank you. I'm glad that I was able to meet you, sir.
Thank you also, bro.
Y'all take care. I salute y'all, man.
All right.
All right, thank you. Love you all.
All right, peace.
Bye.